Greetings! If you remember this palette that I got in a past Temu haul, well, in today's video, I'm gonna be taking a look at what I did with this palette, what colors I put in there, how I set it up, and what I painted with it, just to get a feel for how this palette works. So what I have here is a very simple palette. It's made of wood, has magnets, and it's basically two parts like this that you can attach and set up however you want. You don't have to use them attached. You could separate them however you want. And in the lid, you have your mixing area. In the tray, you have space for 24 colors and a few cat hairs. And yeah, so I noticed when I opened this palette that the shape of the well was like a half circle. And then I remembered that I had a bunch of paints that I had molded myself, like made myself, and put into one of these silicone molds to dry out as little like pellets of paint. And what I did is I dug up as many pellets of paints that I could find and put them in there, and they fit really nicely. So all the shimmery colors here that you see, they were from that mold. These three here, this orange. Now, not all of them were from a mold. I had other shapes as well. One was a coffee bean. So for the coffee beans, I had to sort of cut them up in pieces and stuff them in there. But really for the half circle, they were really easy to fit in. You just had to put a little drop of water, put the pellet in, and there you go. So that's basically what I put in this palette. It's colors that I made myself. Now I'm going to show you, this is the swatches of the colors. Now I know that they are not all labeled. Somewhere I have a post-it note with all the color names and pigments on them, but I've misplaced it, I think. Perhaps I've glued it. Oh, I've glued it in the back. There it is. So yeah, I still need to go through the remaining colors and try to match them with what I remember them being, but it's not really super important for me to figure it out, so I don't mind all that much. Most of them are single pigments. I also have 6 shimmery slash metallic colors, and I have a few mixes that I had made. So this one, this one, this one, and this one, they were mixes that I made myself from various pigments that I had on hand. And I did a few paintings just to test it out, see how the mixing area goes. The mixing area is really nice, worked really well. Now, I don't know with a lot of usage if you can get issues from the paint like running on the side and under this surface. That's something that can happen. And I don't know either like just how treated this wood is. So what happens when you empty up a well in there? Like, can you put a different color in there? Can you wash it? Like, that's a bunch of questions that I can't really answer for now, but that I keep in mind for when I'll get to that point. So what do I think of this palette? I think it's a really fun and convenient travel palette. Like, that's pretty straightforward. It doesn't budge. So unless like you drop your bag or you drop the palette, I wouldn't fear that it would open in my bag. These magnets for holding, these are not as efficient in keeping this part. Might be a bit difficult to keep this palette in hand as you paint, since these two parts don't really stick together all that well. I think this palette could be really fun if you get a similar palette or get this palette, and then also have or acquire one of these. Really, you could put any watercolor paint that you know dries well in your palette. You could put it in there, make a little plastic-less pan or something, and then use that in this palette. So that's a way to figure it out. You could also just pour directly from a tube in there. Like that's not really a mandatory thing. For me, it was just, this moment when your brain figures out the perfect solution to a puzzle, which for me was, what paint do I put in there? And then I saw that my little half circle pans thingy fit perfectly. So it was a no-brainer. I had to put as many as I could in there. And yeah, not much else to say about this palette. If you've tried a palette like this or a similar one, let me know what you thought of it in the comments. I would love to read your thoughts. And in the meantime, I'll go work on more videos and we will see each other in the next one. Bye bye.